You know when you record a video, for any of you that have recorded a video, and about 3/4 of the way through somebody knocks on the door? Well, that just happened. But you've probably been saved because actually that video I've just recorded was far too long, so now I'll try and shorten it for you. Wanted to do something on the all or nothing mentality for you, because I can promise you from the bottom of my heart, through years of experience, that the all or nothing mentality is the biggest thing that you need to shift in order to get a much healthier relationship with food, your diet in general, and lead towards effortless weight management. Okay, I can say that as a voice of authority from someone who's come from being overweight for years, then moved on to having an eating disorder, so that my weight wasn't an issue in terms of being overweight, but I certainly wasn't eating in a healthy way whatsoever. Both of those fueled by very much an all or nothing mentality. So I was always on a diet or off a diet, or with a bulimia I was eating or purging, and neither of them are healthy and neither of them are good for you. Neither of them are good for you up here, and neither of them are good for you with your body either. So the way that I have overcome both of those and now relatively effortlessly manage my weight. I say effortlessly, I'm still conscious that I have to move my arse every day in a purposeful way. If I don't, the weight starts to creep on. If I'm not eating well most of the time, the weight will start to creep on. Do not think, and don't be under the illusion, that if you are sedentary and you eat what you want, you can manage your weight. It is not going to happen. So there has to be effort put into it, but it doesn't have to be really hard, difficult effort. It's just in mindfulness, it's in preparation, it's in planning, it's in consideration of what you put in your mouth, and consideration that you want to move your body because you're able and you can, and you want to be healthy. Getting away from that all or nothing mentality, I want you to start to think of things, if you're not already, as on a scale as opposed to being in two camps. So many people I know, especially women, have a camp of good foods and good weeks and being on a diet and all of that up here. And then we have the extreme opposite at the other end of bad foods, of evil foods, of naughty foods. It's used quite a lot. And eating crap, and oh, I've blown it, so I might as well just carry on, and I'm off a diet, I've blown my diet anyway, being in this camp here. And what I want you to look at is where you can get yourself on this spectrum, and how you can gently, each day by day, and then consistently, you're up there, mindfully stay up at this top part, or just eke your way a little bit further to be better and better still. Okay, so when I look at the better or the worse scale, what I'm considering here is foods that contain more nutrition are the better foods. So the food that contain vitamins, minerals, digestive fibre, complex carbohydrates, proteins, those are the better foods that we want to be choosing more of. And obviously those that don't are the ones that we want to have in our diet less frequently. Better as well is how we eat. Remember, eating mindfully and slowly and purposefully, and choosing foods for a health decision, a positive health decision, is the way that we want to be eating, as opposed to grabbing the first thing through convenience, hurling it down our neck, not even being aware of what we've eaten, savoured it, tasted it, and then feeling guilty as hell afterwards because we know it's something that we shouldn't have eaten. Okay, it's getting onto that scale and then tweaking your way up bit by bit, as opposed to up here, back down here, up here, back down here. Because believe me, as you get older, you spend more time up here, these bits down here will not counteract the damage that you're doing up here. I promise you that. And you will gradually put more and more weight on till you get to a point where it's a lot more difficult to come down here. So get yourself on the scale, understand where you are, and start to make those daily tweaks going up. I'm going to give you an example of a couple of meals so that you can see where you might be now and what you can do to make it easier. So say we're starting with a breakfast of a pain au chocolat, a coffee drink that's got syrup and cream in it. I don't know, I'm not a coffee drinker, so it's a bad example, but I know that a lot of you are. So like a mocha or a latte or a cappuccino or something, you can almost call it a dessert in a cup, because it is effectively full of fat and sugar like a dessert would be. But one of those milky coffees that's got lots of, flavoured syrup or whatever in it to make it nice and sweet and tasty or whatever. And you're eating that said breakfast in the car on the way to work, or in the car on the way to dropping the kids off school or something. So you've got your portable takeawayable dessert in a mug, and then you're snacking on a pan au chocolat and you're shoveling it down as quickly as you can. That's kind of that you're at this, no, not this end, sorry, wrong end. That's at this end of the spectrum in kind of, you know, you've got very, if any, nutritional support in that meal whatsoever. It's going to give you a big sugar crash, both what you're eating and what you're drinking, and then it's going to leave you with no nutritional value, leaving you feeling pretty shit and quite hungry quite soon afterwards as well. So how can we adapt that? Now we're probably looking for the ultimate end up here. I don't know, an egg frittata with lots of vegetables in it, some green tea maybe, eaten peacefully, with no distractions, nice and slowly, without stress, so body can really digest and absorb the nutrients from it. You're giving yourself lots of protein to last you through the morning, some fats and a load of vitamins and minerals in the veggies. That's probably what we're aiming for up here as an ultimate, but there's this big long line here in between, and each of those steps we start to make up that way are a step in the right direction. So for example, we could change that pan au chocolat for a whole grain muffin as a starter. So yes, we're still on carbohydrates, but we're choosing more complex carbohydrates than we did in the pan au chocolat. We can add in a bit of yogurt, a bit of Greek yogurt, to get you some protein from that as well. We could switch the coffee that you had, that sugary, really creamy coffee, for a regular coffee, maybe even make it a black coffee, even if not black then white, but with less sugar. I'm not saying it has to be no sugar at this point, but less sugar. And maybe you're still eating it on the go at this point, or you're eating it in front of your computer, but you're not eating it in the car, say. That's your kind of step up in the right direction. Then you can move towards maybe having some granola, but with some cottage cheese. So again, your protein's going up, your carbohydrate in terms of refined carbs is coming down slightly. You're having some fresh fruit with it. Your coffee's now turned into black coffee, and you're not eating it in front of the PC. You're sat down for the first time, not doing anything. Although your mind's still racing about things and you're not stress-free, you're going in the right direction. So see, with every step, as we're going from the worst choices down here to the best choices up here, we're looking at more complex carbohydrates, probably less carbohydrate total in general, but certainly less of the refined, more of the complex. We're looking at more protein, we're looking at more vitamins, more minerals, so more nutrient, more health. We're looking at less sugar in our drinks, we're looking to drink less of our calories. We're looking for a more mindful, less stressful, more relaxed pace of eating, so that we can start to gain and be in tune with how full we're getting. So we can stop partway through the meal and actually go, I've had enough right now, I don't need to finish this, I'm actually full at where I am now. Stuffing that pan au chocolat down your throat at breakneck speed, you're not going to have that register. Okay, so to go through that as an example, and I've got a lunch one and a dinner one that I happily talk to you about, but I don't want to make this video too long. I want you to start to think about everything you have as you prepare a meal. What can you do to make it that little bit better? What can you do? So you might be grabbing, I don't know, a ready-made chicken for your lunch because that's an easy thing to get. What can you do to make that a bit better? Can you add in a bit of salad, a bit of vegetables or something to give you that nutrition? Just that one thing is making that meal better than it would have been without the salad or without the vegetables. Am I drinking a Coke with it, for example? Could I drink a Diet Coke? I'm not advocating Diet Coke, but I'm talking about a spectrum. I'm talking about chipping away up. Maybe I can then go from a Diet Coke to a juice, an orange juice or an apple juice, and then I can start to water down over time my apple juice or my orange juice until actually I only need a little bit of juice in there, and then eventually I'll be on plain water. But we don't go from Coke to plain water. We go from Coke to Diet Coke to juice to diluted juice to more diluted juice through to plain water. So every time and we're not expecting all of the meals to be perfect either, and that's where you're into this everything's perfect, everything's wonderful. No, actually I've just had a biscuit because someone offered me one and I took one, suddenly it's down here and it's shit again and everything, I need to start eating crap that I was before. But you really don't. If everything is on this spectrum somewhere, and we've got a mixture of everything, but we're inclined each day, each week, each month towards our diet being a little bit better, and you're still moving your butt, you're still doing your purposeful exercise, you know, every day. Come to a Fit Mum session if you can. If you can't, get your bum out walking so that you're moving and you're not sedentary, you're moving as much as possible, then the pounds will drop and the inches will drop and the dress sizes will lower and you'll feel more confident, you'll have more energy, you'll sleep better. All of these things will happen in a much healthier way and a much more consistent and sustainable way than jumping up here, plopping back down here again, jumping up here, plopping back down. So whatever you're doing at the moment, establish where you are on the spectrum and then ask yourself with each meal, right, what was I going to eat? What is the one thing I can do to make this a little bit better and a little bit more in that direction than down here? Next meal, okay? Again, what can I do? Even if I'm not changing anything on the plate, can I eat it slower? Can I reduce the amount I eat so I actually leave something on my plate because I don't need all of that? Or when I get to the middle of the afternoon and I normally have a snack, could I just be a bit hungry for the afternoon and not have a snack? If I waited till the evening meal to eat, would it kill me? Would that feeling of hunger really be as bad as I think it's going to be? So ask yourself constantly, what could I do in this situation that would make it a little bit better than my last decision and what I did yesterday, what I did last week, what I did last month? Okay, I'm really hoping that helps, guys. There's a lot more to come on this kind of all or nothingness that I know a lot of you have a mindset around, because for me, that and emotional eating are probably the two biggest things that people need help with. Like I said, I'm a fundamental believer that everyone knows what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat to be healthy, but it's helping you guys get there without the constant yo-yo dieting and flipping from one extreme to another that we seem to be so well set up to do over years and years of dieting. All right, hope that helps. Any questions, pop them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer. Speak to you soon. Bye.